start to work on your idea of your marketing funnel, how you want to pull these listeners in all the way through into paying for something, giving you money in your pocket. So think through what that listener journey might be for you and what's appropriate for your podcast.
Okay. I love this. Let's talk about this funnel thing.
Yes.
This customer journey thing.
Let's break it down.
So where does the funnel start? How does it stop? And what does this mean for podcasts, independent podcasters? How much work is it going to take?
So I think you just kind of whittle away at it like everything else. You can't just sit down and 2 hours later, you've got your funnel figured out. That's not what is going to happen. But I like to separate the funnel into 4 main groups. If you Google marketing funnel, there's going to be a ton, but 4 feels like it's an amount that I can handle, And the first part is the awareness. So this is where you're trying to capture the widest audience possible. And that's, through social media, or if you're running digital ads for your podcast, or if you're on another podcast, that's the top of your funnel. That's making people aware of you. This can be a freebie that you offer up, or an infographic that you have, anything like that. So this is where people are finding out about you. And then further into the funnel, it gets a little smaller. That's why it's a funnel, because then people start to fall off that maybe are like, oh, that's not for me. So now you're increasing the interest and engagement. This is the interest and engagement, second part of the funnel. And now this is where you're starting to educate them really about what it is you offer. So it can be something a little deeper. Maybe you, start to interact with them now on social media, and you're starting to direct message them. They're direct messaging you, asking questions. Maybe you are hosting a webinar that talks about your podcast and teaches them something that you can teach them, and say, hey, for more, come to, listen to my podcast. And that'd be great for you, Christine. You could do a bunch of different kinds of webinars or summits, or be a speaker at different webinars and summits, and pull people into your podcast that way, because you have such a wealth of knowledge. And then this is where if you have an email list, you want to pull them into an email list, because now you're going to start to want to talk to them. Why are you laughing? You're snickering.
Just like, wealth of knowledge. I was joking. I was made a joke. I wasn't gonna bring attention to it, but I brushed my shoulder like, oh no, big deal.
But you do, and a webinar can help pull people in that don't know about you and what you have to offer. It's a really good way to build that interest and engagement. And then the third part, again, it gets smaller, but more people are interested in it. And this is the consideration. They're considering maybe being more involved in what you're doing. They've bought that merchandise mug from you. They are attending those live events that you've, offered up. Or they're buying a course from you because they like everything you're teaching on the podcast. And now you've launched this really cool course, and now they're purchasing that course from you. And then of course the final stage is the action. They've bought your product. They love it. They've bought your digital download. They've bought into you. And they're the ones showing up at those live events and showing up for those courseworks or those webinars and things like that.